'cause I won't break, no, I know I won't weep. You're in trouble deep. I don't wanna hear no more. There are certain things I won't ignore. I really think you need to go before I kick you out the door. I kick you out the door. You think that using her would get to me, and if you're right then you're in trouble deep. 'Cause I won't break, now I know I don't weep. And you're in trouble deep. I don't wanna hear no more. There are certain things I won't ignore. I really think you need to go before I kick you out the door. I don't wanna hear no more. There are certain things I won't ignore. I really think you need to go before I kick you out the door.
Alright, so I beat brace layout to death on this channel, but I've only shown you one way of doing it, and I kind of ran into this situation tonight, so I thought maybe it'd be a good time to explain another method, because some of you may have stuff that's sitting around, maybe it's bowed a little bit, twisted a little bit, you know. Let's just say this edge that you want to use to lay out isn't perfectly straight all the way down. So what I do to deal with that, I measure up 3/8 from both ends, because remember this 3/8 inch here is to account for a housing butt. So what we need to do, we get our 3/8, and I've drawn a line down through here, and right here down on this, right in the middle here, and right down in there, I'm a good, not quite an 1/8 off of this line, but I'm off enough to where it could throw some things off a little bit on me, but I still need this brace to fit in. Now if I just go and lay this square up here, say I'm down here and it was off, you know, but if I just square off the edge here, it's not going to give me a totally accurate line, and the brace may not fit just right, and these braces are really important to get to fit right. So what we'll do is, I have a line here, we're going to lay this brace out off of this line, and it's pretty much the same layout as what I've showed you before, except for now you're using a line on the piece you're wanting to lay out. So let me see if I can get this camera a little bit better for you and show you what we're talking about here. Try to get the whole, you know, I can get close with it. Gotta quit filming with a cell phone, it would work out better for me. But so anyway, this is a little trickier to do if you don't have, now it's a little bit trickier. So I know that according to my framing square, this brace I want for here, 30-inch layout, is going to be 42 7/16. Remember, I've told you before, that is on your framing square. We'll see where this lays out. Yeah, so we got a few inches to spare here, not too many. Let's say we'll come up here. I'll zero it out right here. Okay. So, I'm going to have my clamp right there. I don't want this tape moving while I'm doing it. But you're probably thinking, yeah, that's just plain old common sense. Come on. Okay. Well, we're zeroed out right there. I mean 42 7/16. What the hell's going on here? Move her down a little. Tell me after all that work to cut these up, they're too short. That wouldn't be cool. 42 and 7/6. Ah, damn thing's gonna be too short, isn't it? Now let's see what we get. Could have just wasted a lot of my time here tonight. So I know this is a bit of a goofy way of doing it, guys. But you use what you have. So I'm going to get my combination square lined up here and get it on my line good. I'm just going to draw that angle back there. Double check. I'm right on. And we'll come back the other way, or I could just go 90 degrees off of this. And I'll just carry our line. Make sure I have my 3 inches for my tenon. 2 with a little bit to spare. Might not be the same story down on the other end. Okay, so let's waste. See how well we can see that. Yeah, we can see it. So we'll rinse and repeat down on this end. My problem is I don't own a single square. It doesn't have a ledge on it. But looks like this will work out just fine. Again, I'm going to draw a 90-degree line off of here. And we'll project it with the straight edge. Now the reason I'm waiting until now to show this to you guys because I have not run into it yet. So far I've been very lucky having good straight timbers. Oh, we're just made it here. I mean just made it. So believe it or not, I'm missing just about the part I would be chamfering on this end to get that layout. So, it's all laid out, it's ready to cut. Mark some waste out here, but not a big deal tonight. I'm glad I didn't make that any, there's a scrap 10x10 I had laying in here, but I just wanted to show you guys there was another method here that you could lay these out. Let's see if I can get you a better view of it. I laid it off on that end. Now it's probably going to be pretty close down here because it appears that the boards just take a divot down there. See that? See how the line disappears to the square up through there, or pretty close to it? That right there would be enough to throw you off so you wouldn't fit. Go down on this end and see how bad it is. Same thing on this end. We'll see if I can get you a better shot of that. There we go. This end's not as pronounced. Awful hard to see there. But now I have both of my 45 degrees. I have them both the same on each end. They're on the same plane. The only way you're going to get that, if you have one that's crowned or whatever, just mark up through there and that'll work out for you. And that's how you make them straight. Well, I hope that wasn't too hard to see what we were doing there. Basically showing you guys another way you could deal with some of your stock that's, you know, a little wonky, has some twists, maybe some crowns in it. You're going to get that a lot, especially if you mill everything up all at once. You're going to find a lot of your first timbers, if you took a lot of time to square them, things like that, you're going to sticker stack them things. By the time you get down to your final timbers, your final braces, sometimes that stuff's going to twist a little bit, or it's going to crown a little bit. Sometimes even when you're cutting them on the mill, depending on the stresses that were in that tree that you're cutting, sometimes things shift. You can negate some of that the way you cut the edges off, the way you slab off your timbers, but inevitably you are going to run into something that you're going to look at and it's going to be like, that's just out of whack, I don't even want to use it. How do I go about correcting that? We've done a couple videos so far doing the center line, chalk lines, things like that. When we get into the next frame, that's going to be kind of a bastardized scribe rule and square rule layout, kind of all jumbled together, but we'll be using the plumb bob quite a bit, things like that. The next frame we're going to use some more traditional methods on, because I'll be inside and have a lot more time. The weather's not going to matter once we get to that one. But so anyway, a lot of times when you're cutting your joints, you've taken a lot of time to make sure you've cut a beautifully square joint. You're squaring up on one end, everything looks good. You go to throw it up there, doesn't fit, your scarves don't line up, and I notice it mostly in scarf joints when I put them together. That seems to me some missing that kind of thing really shows up in the scarves. So what I do to negate that, to keep that from happening, is if I have a timber that's out of whack a little bit, or a piece of brace stock, I'll use a reference line somewhere. In this case, we were a lot closer to the edge. It wasn't like it was a center line snap, but that's kind of what we needed. So now if I just used my speed square to lay that out right off the edge of the brace, you guys see where I got the close-up of that. You see where that line was off compared to the line I had it on. So that's kind of some of the things you got to watch for. Now I need to find a square that doesn't have the ledge on it, and that would be a lot easier to use. Or you could use a regular framing square for it too. I was kind of close to the edge there, didn't have a lot of meat extra on this brace stock, so that wasn't really an option. So I had to fiddle around with the combination square a little bit. So anyway, if you have a timber that's got a crown in it, a little bit bowed, something like that, you can deal with it. But it's one of those things you keep in mind. If you're just going off of your reference edges and you have a crown you didn't catch in that, you figure that's going to be doing something like that, and we're going to exaggerate it here so you can see it. You figure that one scarf, both of them on both ends are going to be pointing down. They're not going to line up into what the other half of the scarf they need to meet up from, say, another timber. And I have caught that a couple times here, and I've had to do some fudging around, and sure enough, snap a line on a timber and oops, I had just enough of a crown in there. And it doesn't take a lot to get a long scarf joint to not line up for you. So if you guys are cutting your timbers and you're frustrated because it's not lining up, snap a line on those timbers and see what you get. And you may have to lay them out from a center reference point instead, which, to be honest with you, I find it's more time consuming, but it is definitely the most accurate way that I have found in practice myself, not just read about, to lay out a timber. That it just seems to work out a lot better. So anyway, I hope it was good information. I hope you enjoyed it. I know we've done brace layout, 3 or 4 videos on it. Braces are still some of the biggest questions I get asked about how to do this, and it's good to show another way of doing it here and there. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good evening. I will catch you on the next one.